Girlfriend posted a video of me having a panic attack on TikTok because she thought it was relatable content. So I broke up with her, but now her followers are doxing me and calling me abusive for abandoning her during her influencer journey. I, 28M, have been dating my girlfriend, 24F, for almost a year now, and there is this ongoing issue that is starting to really bother me. She absolutely refuses to put her phone down when we are together, and I don't just mean she's scrolling through Instagram. I am talking about recording everything: our dates, our meals, when we are watching a movie, when we are driving in the car, even something as private as when we are having a serious conversation or lying in bed. At first, I thought it was just how people her age are, or that she was just creative. I have dated girls before who use social media a lot, so having someone who wanted to take selfies didn't feel weird, but it has gotten to the point where it feels invasive and controlling, and she gets genuinely upset when I ask her to stop recording. Last weekend, we went to a street food festival with some of her friends and their boyfriends. It was really crowded and loud. When I started to feel a bit overwhelmed, she actually pulled out her phone and started narrating how introverted I was being to her camera in front of everyone. Not joking, but definitely loud enough that people around us looked over. She pointed the camera right in my face, not casually, but zoomed in and said, "Look at him. He's so overstimulated," in a tone that made it clear she was performing for an audience. I was mortified. Her friend's boyfriend later pulled me aside and asked if I was cool with that, which made me realize how it must have looked to other people. When I brought it up to her later, she got defensive and said I was being a buzzkill and disrespecting her creative process by asking for privacy. Here is what makes it even more confusing. We both have normal jobs, but she is trying to be a lifestyle influencer. I work in logistics and she works in marketing. So it is not like this is her full-time job where she has to record to pay rent. I have tried approaching this in different ways. I have suggested we have phone-free dates or that we designate specific times for content creation. I have even suggested she just film herself and leave me out of it. Every suggestion gets shut down. She says she is trying to build a brand based on authentic relationships and that a supportive partner should want to help her grow. When I point out that we are real people and not just characters on a screen, she gets this look like I am attacking her dreams. The weird part is that she is not superficial or mean in other aspects of our relationship. She remembers small details about my life. She is great with my dog, and she doesn't expect me to be perfect. She is actually pretty thoughtful about most things. It is literally just the recording thing. It is also starting to affect our relationship in practical ways. I feel anxious every time we go out because I know she's going to try to turn it into a skit or a moment for her page. I have started suggesting we stay in more often, but then she sets up a tripod in the living room to film a cozy night in time-lapse, and I feel like I am on a movie set in my own house. Last month, I had a really rough week at work and just wanted to vent to her. I started telling her about a mistake I made with a shipment and how stressed I was. I was really opening up. I looked over and saw the red light on her phone facing me, propped up against a water glass. I stopped talking immediately. She completely lost it, not screaming, but she got this panicked look and kept trying to say she just wanted to capture the raw emotion of the moment. When I grabbed the phone to turn it off, she sat there looking like I had broken a priceless vase. She barely spoke for the rest of the evening. When we got ready for bed, she said I had ruined a potentially viral moment and made her feel like her art wasn't valid. I tried to explain that it was supposed to be a private conversation, that I wanted to trust her with my feelings, but she said that hiding our struggles makes us fake. This is a girl who edits her photos for an hour before posting them. The idea that letting her film me stressing about work is authentic seems completely irrational to me. We have been together almost a year, and I really care about her. She's funny, smart, driven in other ways, and we have great chemistry when the phone is away. But this content thing is becoming a real problem. I feel like I can't be a person in the relationship, just a prop, and it is making me resentful. I also worry about what this means for our future. If we moved in together, got married, had kids, would she expect to film everything? What if one of us got sick or we had a fight? I have tried talking to a few friends about it, and they are split. Some think it is just the way the world is now and I'm being old-fashioned. Others think it is a major invasion of privacy. My best friend thinks I should just tell her to stop or I'm leaving, but my sister thinks I should try to support her hobby if it makes her happy. I am starting to feel like I am the asshole for not just accepting this and being an Instagram husband, but it genuinely bothers me. Am I wrong for wanting privacy in our relationship? Comment 1. This isn't about being an Instagram husband. The fact that she records you without consent, especially during vulnerable moments like when you're stressed about work, is concerning. A healthy relationship involves boundaries and consent. Her reaction to you stopping the recording of your venting session is especially telling. That is not normal behavior. Op response: everyone is always talking about how important it is to support your partner's side hustles, so I felt weird being upset about it. The venting session thing really bothered me because it wasn't even about our regular fun dates. It was supposed to be me looking for support from my girlfriend, and she still turned it into content. What really gets to me is that she seemed genuinely distressed when I stopped her, not just annoyed. Like she was almost panicky about losing the footage. I don't understand why capturing my stress is so important to her. It makes me feel like she doesn't see me as a partner, just a source of content, which isn't the dynamic I want in a relationship. Comment 2 nah, but this sounds like it might be rooted in something deeper than just wanting to be famous. The level of distress she shows when you stop her suggests this might be tied to her self-worth or validation in some way. Have you tried having a calm conversation about why this is so important to her? Not during or right after she films, but just sitting down and really talking about it. Op response: we have tried to talk about it a few times, but she always gives the same responses about building a community and it being about connection. When I push for more details, she gets uncomfortable and accuses me of not understanding the digital age. You might be right about it being tied to something deeper. Her social life growing up is something she doesn't talk about much. I know she moved around a lot as a kid and didn't have a solid friend group, but she is pretty private about the details. I have been with her for almost a year and I have never met any childhood friends, only people she met online or through work. Maybe there is something there I don't understand, but I don't know how to get her to open up about it without seeming like I am attacking her or trying to diagnose her. Comment 3 YTA for making this into such a big deal. Some girls show affection by sharing their life, and you are turning her passion into a problem. You are literally complaining that your girlfriend wants to show you off. If you don't like being posted, find someone who doesn't use social media and see how boring that is. Op response: I think you are missing the point. This isn't about not appreciating her wanting to show me off. I do appreciate when she posts a nice picture of us. The problem is that it has become absolute and non-negotiable to the point where she gets visibly upset if I try to have a private moment. That is not affection, that is obsession. In a healthy relationship, both people should be able to decide when they are being recorded. When one person completely ignores the other person's discomfort, it creates an imbalance. I am not asking her to delete her account. I am asking for the occasional opportunity to exist without a camera in my face. The fact that she literally cannot put the phone down during a serious conversation suggests this goes beyond just wanting to show me off. Comment 4: how does she react to non-digital memories? Like if you write her a letter, take a Polaroid that you don't post, or just have a memory that isn't recorded. I am wondering if this is specifically about the public validation or about memory keeping. Op response: she is weird about non-digital things. If I write her a note, she takes a picture of it and posts it to her story immediately. If we take a Polaroid, she scans it and posts it. It seems like if it isn't posted, it didn't happen for her. She even gets anxious if we do something and she forgets to take a picture, like the experience was wasted. It really does seem to be specifically about the public aspect, which makes it even weirder to me because if she just wanted memories, she could just keep the photos on her phone. But she has to share them. I don't understand the distinction or why keeping things private is so threatening to her. Update: it has been about 3 weeks since my original post, and several people suggested that this might be rooted in something deeper than just wanting to be an influencer, and it turns out you were right. After reading the comments, I decided to try approaching the conversation differently. Instead of focusing on the privacy aspect directly, I tried to ask more about her childhood and her need for connection. I know that sounds manipulative, but I genuinely wanted to understand her better. Several commenters pointed out that her reaction seemed extreme enough to suggest some underlying issues. We were having dinner at my apartment last week, just a quiet night, and I asked her to leave the phone in her bag, and I asked her about what her social life was like before she started her account. She got this far off look and said she didn't really have one because nobody noticed her. When I asked her to tell me more about that, she was quiet for a long time and then it all came out. She grew up really lonely. I mean, eating lunch in the bathroom stall, never getting invited to parties, being totally invisible, kind of lonely. Her parents were strict and moved them every 2 years for her dad's job, so she never had a chance to make real roots. She told me about being a teenager and watching everyone else have these fun lives on social media while she sat in her room. She talked about creating her account and finally getting comments and likes, and how it felt like people finally saw her. She said she promised herself that she would never be invisible again, and that she would build a life that everyone wanted to watch so she would never feel left out. When she told me all this, so much of her behavior started to make sense. The panic when I ask her to stop filming isn't about control. It's about this deep-seated fear that if she stops posting, she disappears again. In her mind, not recording me means she is losing the proof that she is loved and has a life. I felt horrible for not understanding this earlier, and I told her how much I appreciated her sharing that with me. But then I started thinking about the panic attack video. I haven't mentioned this yet, but the incident that finally made me write this update happened 3 days ago. We were at a mall, and I have a bit of claustrophobia. It was really packed, and I started having a panic attack. I couldn't breathe, my chest was tight, the whole thing. I sat down on a bench and put my head between my knees. I thought she was rubbing my back. I felt her hand on my shoulder. But when I looked up, gasping for air, she had the phone propped up on her purse on the bench next to us, recording me. She wasn't live streaming, thankfully, but she was recording it. When I realized, I knocked the phone over. We left immediately. Later, I found out she had posted a clip of it. Not the whole thing, but a montage of me looking distressed with sad music and text that said mental health is real. Supporting him through the hard times. It had 50,000 views. I was furious. I told her that this was exactly what I have been worried about, that her insistence on filming everything wasn't supportive, it was exploitative. She got defensive at first, insisting that she was raising awareness and that people in the comments were saying how sweet she was for staying with me. I explained that it absolutely was my problem because it was my medical event and I didn't consent to it being shared. I said that if I had known she was filming me while I was gasping for air, I would have left her there. We had a pretty long conversation about this, and I think she's starting to understand that her approach isn't actually helping anyone. It is violating my trust. She finally admitted that she posted it because vulnerable content gets the most engagement. She ended up deleting the video despite saying it was her best performing one of the month. She keeps saying that she knows logically that it makes sense for us to have privacy, but that it feels wrong and makes her anxious that her engagement will drop. We are trying to compromise. She has agreed to not film me without asking first, and we are going to have designated no phone zones, like the bedroom and when we are eating. She has also agreed to focus on other types of content that don't involve me being the main character. It has been an adjustment. She still reaches for her phone automatically when I say something funny or sad, and I can tell it bothers her to put it down, but she is trying. I am realizing this is going to be a longer process than I initially thought. The view count obsession is still concerning to me though. 50,000 views is a lot of people seeing me at my worst. I have offered to help her brainstorm other content ideas since she feels like she needs to post constantly, but she is adamant that lifestyle is her niche. I am respecting that for now, but I am keeping an eye on the situation. Comment 1. I am glad she opened up to you, but I am concerned that she filmed you having a medical emergency and posted it. That is a massive violation. And the fact that she hesitated to delete it because of the views, that is scary. If she is willing to exploit your panic attack for likes, what happens if you have a serious illness or a family tragedy? Will she live stream the funeral? Op response: that is definitely something I am worried about too. The long-term implications of this mindset are what concern me most. We have talked a little bit about the future, and she insists that she understands things would need to be different if something serious happened, but I am not sure she has really internalized that yet. Right now, she can conceptualize the panic attack as content that helps people. But what happens when it is something even more personal? I think she would struggle with the idea of keeping a tragedy private just as much as she struggles with keeping a date private. I am hoping that therapy might help her work through some of these deeper beliefs about visibility and worth, but I can't force her to go. For now, I am focusing on the fact that she deleted the video and hoping that as she gets more comfortable with privacy, it will be easier for her to separate life from content later. Comment 2. Have you considered that her willingness to violate your privacy might be a sign of narcissism rather than just childhood trauma? I get that her upbringing was lonely, but lots of people grow up lonely without developing this kind of ruthless need for attention. The fact that she hid the recording device during your panic attack is also concerning. Op response: I have definitely thought about that, and you are right that the hiding part bothers me. I thought she was comforting me, but she was setting up a shot. But I don't think this is narcissism in the malicious sense. She isn't doing it to hurt me. She genuinely thought she was being relatable. This behavior is specifically about maintaining what she sees as her connection to the world. That doesn't make it okay, but I think it is different from someone who just doesn't care about others. The hiding part, though, that does concern me. She said she didn't tell me she was filming because she didn't want to ruin the authenticity. But that is exactly the kind of capturing reality that created this problem in the first place. I have made it clear that consent is important to me going forward, especially if we're going to have any kind of future together. I think she's starting to understand that sneaking videos isn't actually authentic. It is just creepy. Comment 3, you mentioned suggesting therapy, but not pushing it. I think you should reconsider pushing it. Honestly, this level of anxiety around being offline isn't something that is likely to resolve just through willpower and good intentions. She needs professional help to work through the underlying beliefs that are driving this behavior. Op response: I have been hesitant to push the therapy thing because I don't want to make her feel like I think she is crazy, especially after she was vulnerable enough to share her childhood experiences with me. But I am starting to think that my hesitance might be doing her a disservice. The anxiety she experiences when she isn't posting is clearly really distressing for her, and it isn't fair to either of us to just hope it gets better on its own. I think I will bring it up again, maybe framing it as something that could help her deal with the pressure of social media rather than something she needs to fix about herself. Update 2: this is going to be another difficult update, and I am honestly not sure what to do at this point. The situation with my girlfriend has gotten more complicated, and I am starting to realize that the content issues I wrote about before were just the tip of the iceberg. It has been about 6 weeks since my last update, and we have been making slow progress on the phone thing. She has been keeping the phone away during dinner without too much resistance, and she hasn't posted me without asking for a while. It seemed like she was respecting the boundary. Last week, I noticed she seemed more tired than usual. She's always on her phone, but she was staying up until 3 or 4 a.m., and she just seemed generally wired and edgy. When I asked her about it, she said she was just working on editing some backlog content, which I accepted because I know editing takes time. But then on Saturday, I came home early from a work trip. I wasn't trying to surprise her, my meeting just ended early. When I walked into the apartment around 2:00 p.m., it was quiet. I walked toward the bedroom and I heard her talking. I stopped because her voice sounded different. She was whispering, but intensely. I pushed the door open slightly. She was sitting on the floor of our closet, a walk-in closet, with a ring light and her phone. She was crying, like sobbing. And she was talking to the phone. He just doesn't get it, you guys. He makes me feel so small. I try to be a good girlfriend, but he suppresses my light. I stood there frozen. She wasn't just venting to a friend, she was live streaming. I could see the scrolling comments on her screen. There were hundreds of them. She looked up and saw me. She didn't panic and turn it off like she usually does. She pointed the phone at me. See, he's home early. He's always checking up on me. I was completely shocked. This means she's been running a secret narrative about me to her followers this whole time. When I asked her what the hell was going on, she finally ended the stream, but she looked defiant. I sat her down and told her I knew something was going on and that I was horrified. After a lot of back and forth, she finally admitted that she has a close friend's story and a subscriber-only Discord where she posts the real stuff. She has been documenting our relationship struggles for the past 3 months. She has been posting videos of me sleeping, audio recordings of our arguments, and these crying sessions where she paints me as this controlling boyfriend who hates her dreams. She's making money off of it. People pay to subscribe to the tea. I was stunned. This whole time, I have been thinking we were making progress, but apparently she dealt with my request for privacy by just moving the violation behind a paywall. When I pointed this out, she said she needed a safe space to vent and that her followers were her support system. I asked her how long she was planning to keep this up, and she said until I stopped being so controlling or until she made enough money to move to LA. I told her this was completely insane and that she was destroying our relationship for cash. She told me she has made $3,000 this month from subscribers who want to save her from me. She said she is doing it for her future. I said I was worried about her mental health and that this wasn't what I wanted when I asked her to be more present. She got defensive and said that monetization was the only way to be free. She started filming me again right then and there. "Look at him gaslighting me," she said to the camera. We got into a pretty big argument about it. I told her that I would rather be single than be a character in her soap opera. She said that I couldn't leave because the fans would know. I said that her fans didn't know me. They knew a version of me she invented. The argument ended with her locking herself in the bathroom to decompress, film more. But I can't drop this. Watching someone you care about destroy their real life to feed a fake online one is incredibly frustrating and heartbreaking. I have been looking at the comments she showed me before she hid the phone. People were saying things like, "Leave him, Queen, and he has dead eyes." I have tried talking to her about this several times since Saturday, but she keeps insisting that this is her career and I am standing in the way. She won't commit to deleting the subscriber channel. She won't agree to stop posting about me. I am starting to feel like I am in a relationship with a person who sees me as a villain to be defeated for views rather than a partner. It isn't the dynamic I want, and it isn't sustainable for either of us. I don't know what to do. I love the girl I thought she was, but I can't live like this. I also can't force her to delete the account if she is making money from it. I am not sure if I should give her an ultimatum about the social media, or if that would just give her more content for her abusive boyfriend narrative. Comment 1. I am confused about how you didn't notice she was live streaming from the closet. Wouldn't you have heard her? How was she hiding this hours-long content creation from you? Op response: I feel pretty stupid about this. There were definitely signs that I either missed or rationalized away. She would often say she was doing her makeup or organizing the closet. I just accepted it because she has a lot of clothes and products. She was also wearing headphones a lot, which I thought was just her listening to podcasts. Since we live in a decent-sized apartment, I wasn't tracking her every movement. The crying sessions were apparently mostly when I was at work or asleep. Also, she has always been someone who needs a lot of girl time. So when she said she needed to be alone in the room, that seemed normal. The biggest red flag that I ignored was how she would look at me sometimes, like she was analyzing me for a script. But again, I attributed that to her being an observant person rather than her literally selling my privacy for $5 a month. Comment 2. Your girlfriend needs a reality check, not an ultimatum. This level of delusion is dangerous. And until she deals with the addiction to validation, she is just going to find new ways to exploit you. The subscriber channel is just the latest version of the same problem. Op response: I have brought up the reality of the situation, more directly this time, and she has been resistant. She says I am just jealous of her success. She says she is building an empire, but I think she's starting to see that I am actually pulling away. The challenge is that she is so deep in the echo chamber of her followers that she can't hear my actual voice anymore. Comment 3. Have you considered talking to her parents about this? I know that might feel like overstepping, but if this behavior is rooted in her childhood loneliness, maybe they could provide some insight or help her understand that she is destroying her real relationships. Op response: I have thought about reaching out to her family, but I am hesitant for a few reasons. First, she has painted them as villains too on her channel. If I reach out to them, she will spin it as me conspiring with her abusers. Second, I am not sure her family would be helpful. They are very disconnected from technology and might just tell her to stop being silly, which would make her feel more misunderstood. I think at this point, any intervention needs to come from a professional, not from people she has already written off as haters. Final update: I wasn't planning to post another update so soon. On Tuesday, I broke up with my girlfriend. It wasn't a calm conversation. It exploded. I came home from work and found that she had set up a prank where she pretended to cheat on me to get my reaction on camera. She had a male friend over, shirt off, sitting on the couch when I walked in. I didn't react the way she wanted. I didn't scream or cry. I just went numb. I walked past them, went to the bedroom, and started packing a bag. She followed me with the camera, asking why I wasn't fighting for her. She kept asking, "Don't you care? Look, it's just a prank. Say hi to the vlog." I turned around and told her that I was done. I couldn't watch her destroy her dignity and my sanity for clicks anymore. I said I understood her feelings about needing to be seen, but that her current approach was hurting both of us and had killed my love for her. For the first time since I have known her, she stopped filming. I think the reality of me actually packing a bag scared her. She dropped the act. She started crying for real, not the fake crying she does for the stream. She begged me to stay. She said she would delete everything, but I knew she wouldn't, or if she did, she would resent me for it. I left. I went to a hotel. The next morning, the docs happened. She posted a video. It wasn't an apology. It was a 40-minute video titled "My Truth: Escaping a Narcissist." She accused me of abandoning her, of being emotionally abusive, of isolating her. She didn't mention the prank. She didn't mention the secret recordings. She just cried and said I had left her with nothing. Her followers found me. They found my LinkedIn. They found my company's Instagram. They found my sister's Facebook. My phone started blowing up with calls from unknown numbers. My work email was flooded with people demanding I be fired for being an abuser. My sister got messages telling her to die. It was terrifying. I felt like I was drowning. I had to lock down all my accounts. I had to call my boss and explain that I was being targeted by an internet mob. Thankfully, my boss is understanding and knows me well, but it was humiliating. I ended up having to hire a lawyer to send a cease and desist letter. I had to threaten legal action for defamation and the non-consensual distribution of private recordings, the sleeping videos. When she got the legal letter, she finally took the video down. She posted a vague, taking a break from my mental health status, and went silent. I have spent the past week picking up the pieces of my digital life. I am staying with my brother because I don't feel safe at my apartment, even though she is the one who is supposed to be moving out. She's been trying to contact me through burner numbers, apologizing and saying she lost control of the narrative. She says she didn't mean for them to attack me, she just wanted sympathy. But I can't go back. I realized that the person I loved was gone a long time ago, replaced by this persona she created. I want to thank everyone who commented on my previous posts. A lot of you predicted that this situation would escalate if I didn't get out. Unfortunately, you were right. But your advice about narcissism, and this being an addiction to attention, rather than just a hobby, really helped me understand what I was dealing with. I will probably not update again because I need to stay offline for my own sanity. But for now, I am just grateful that I am free and that I can finally exist without a lens in my face.